Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, Chapter 22, titled Without Everyone. My name's Duuz-Diz-Din, and this is another fairy tale review. With this one, I just wanted to start off by just saying I love fairy tale. I love Hiro Mashima, and I really, was inspired a lot by a lot of the things that he did. This chapter begins with Natsu having been energized by Igneous flames, confronting the water god dragon, who basically loads up almost like an almost bursting hose. A true roar, as Wendy says. One that's just, kind of built up to be something very destructive and impactful. And everyone starts getting worried. They start freaking out. But in comes Natsu with, a show of his fire dragon's brilliant flame that basically evaporates all the, I guess it's condensed water from the water god dragon's, Mercuphobia's, blast, his roar. And it, this power that Natsu got combined with Ignea's is just so devastating that it's able to completely blast its way through Mercuphobia's blast and then get Mercuphobia right in the face, and he goes down, almost like he was never much of a threat to begin with. And then when they start thinking that maybe he's down, Natsu calls out for the help of his friends, because he feels that he cannot beat them alone. Mind you, this is after the first real bit of damage that has befell Mercuphobia up until this point. And with thoughts of Ignea, the pompous, way that Ignea gave him his power, he calls out to his friends saying that he does not have enough power at the moment to truly be able to take down someone like Mercuphobia. But Mercuphobia doesn't retaliate during this point. Natsu and his friends go in with their Dragon Slayer crests and manage to do minor amounts of damage to Mercuphobia. It's honestly hard to tell at this point because, Mercuphobia got that blast to the face and it just seems to be falling very slowly. And then Natsu goes in when the Fire King Dragon's fist, and he uppercuts Mercuphobia with a powerful attack that seems to shatter Mercuphobia's skull almost. Broken teeth, broken horns, just everything on Mercuphobia is broken. The young girl who was raised by Mercuphobia cries, only thinking that this is for the best, as all he would have done was hurt the very people he cared about. And as Mercuphobia falls to the floor, Natsu steps forward, unrelenting, still on a high from the power that he received from Ignea, wishing to burn Mercuphobia to nothing but ash. His friends cry out to him, but they are drowned out by Natsu's own roar, ready to decimate what seems to be the corpse of Mercuphobia, only to be stopped by Lucy. And despite the fact that Natsu burns with a flame hotter than anything anyone has ever experienced, Natsu, who after a year of training got to a point where he could melt stone just with his mere presence, Lucy clings to him, telling him it's done, it's already over, and that she's here with him, despite the fact that her clothes slowly begin to burn, and so does her flesh. And Natsu slowly comes to his senses. His arms burn down to the muscle. After everything that has happened, it is finally over. Now, I did that in a different format than what I usually do, as I feel that After reading a lot of the comments about this chapter after the fact, that I feel that I can't deny that ultimately Hiro Mashima spins his wheels a lot with these stories. It's either, as we saw with the Scullion Raider and his group, that it's either Natsu and his friends go into a situation up against a new band of villains and they're taken out only to come back once again, not really doing anything different. I guess just not underestimating their opponents, and they take them down. That's happened time and time and time again. With Tartaros, with with all the various dark guilds, the Horatian says, just everyone. It just always seems to happen this way. Or you'll have a moment where they're going up against a mighty opponent, Zareth, Echnologia, Hades, Zero, Brain, what have you. They'll go up against, Natsu specifically will go up against a very powerful opponent, get his ass handed to him, and then come back with some form of power-up, some one-time power-up, and defeat the big bad guy. And it's the repetitive nature that I feel turns people off from this in the end. We still, these people still come back to this series because, you still see something in it. You still feel something for these characters. You're still curious to know where it'll go or what'll happen, or if, hell, at some point Mashima's way of doing things for this manga will ever truly change. But it doesn't. Not really. It's always the same beats to the point where you can call out what's probably going to happen at some point. It's frustrating. I still enjoy this series for the most part. Because, honestly, Mashima's Rave Master was one of my biggest inspirations. It's why it's one of the reasons why I love drawing. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to become an animator. It's why I got my bachelor's degree in animation. But, what I'm seeing here, it just makes me question. Does he not see his own patterns? Has he gotten tired and just wants to regurgitate the same thing over and over again? I didn't keep up with Eden Zero, but it just raises a lot of questions. Maybe I should catch back up with that. Maybe there's something different going on there that he just started putting Fairy Tail on autopilot a good while ago. It really makes me wonder, what's the purpose of this series? Where is it going? What statement was he trying to make? You have a series like Boruto, which honestly Mashima isn't even working on. Kishimoto isn't even working on. He's supervising, he's the editor, but he improves everything. And time after time after time again, it just doesn't live up to a lot of people's standards. Either Naruto is portrayed as too weak, or it raises the question why the all-powerful Naruto isn't stepping in. And that's the problem with power creep. You have a hard time gauging how powerful a character is supposed to be because you hear about how powerful they are. You hear rumors, you hear tales. You have certain characters get, beat down all of a sudden to show the, big bad's power, only for that big bad to be taken down later. So, who's truly weak? Who's truly powerful in the context of this? Is it just that our regular characters got the element of surprise and they underestimated how much they needed to really put in to take down the bad guy? It makes the character seem incompetent sometimes. Or sometimes it's even a situation where the bad guys just teamed up and surrounded our heroes and took them down. And it was only through fighting them one-on-one that we truly saw that our heroes were superior. I don't know. It raises a lot of questions. I don't hate this series. I love this series. I love watching it animated specifically because I feel like the animation team just adds a little bit of something that just really compels me to this overall series. Maybe sometimes I just need to sit back and not listen to all the haters, I guess it is, who, sometimes make me reevaluate how I feel about this series. Maybe I should just sit back and enjoy it. But then it's not much of a review, is it? You know, and at the same time, these were thoughts that I was having for the longest time towards this series. I would enjoy it at first, but then I'd come back to it and rethink how I felt about something. Very much like Bleach, Naruto, and even One Piece in certain situations. It really makes me question my taste at certain points. The fact that I still, for the most part, love Fairy Tail, but I still have my issues with it. Maybe that goes to show that I'm not blinded by loyalty as a fan, not a mindless fanboy, that I can see the faults, but I still kind of look past them from time to time. I was thrilled when I saw Natsu just uppercut Mercuphobia, but after thinking about it for a while, I'm just like, well, if Natsu's power combined with another's power was enough to take him down, wouldn't Natsu just need that to take down the other Holy Pentadrakes? Isn't that all he really needs? That kind of makes it feel a lot less epic and grand, like, the rest of them are just one power boost away from being dealt with. That feels like it lessens the impact. Our heroes got away from this with Natsu just getting some really badly damaged hands, and who knows how long the effects of the way his hands look will even matter. Will it really matter in the long run that he damaged his hands? Will it have any consequences further down the line? Am I just speaking into a void that just says shut up, either watch it, read it, or don't, and move on with your life? But I can't. I love Mishima and his work too much to just stop and give up and no longer, be invested in this world, in this characters that someone I admire honestly shaped and formed. I want this to be good. I want to enjoy this. I want to look past how I think and feel and just embrace this. But the flaws are too glaring because it repeats too many times that I can't look past it sometimes. I don't know. If you liked this video, feel free to leave me a like. If you didn't, because I got a little too ranty at the end, feel free to leave me a dislike. And tell me in the comment section below, how do you feel towards Fairy Tail? How do you feel towards this series as a whole? Do you still enjoy it? And why? What makes you keep coming back to this series time and time and time again? And if you're just popping into this video because you're wondering what happened, because you stopped reading a long time ago, because you stopped watching a long time ago, what brought you back? Why did you drop off? I'm very curious. But hey, I'll definitely continue to bring you more Fairy Tail the 100 Years Quest reviews, because I guess I'm an addict. I'm an addict to the writings of one man. I'm willing to sit through it and deal with it time and time again because I'm just invested. I've put time and effort into seeing this through, and I just want to keep going, come hell or high water. And if you are too, subscribe and hit the bell. And if you want to find me on any other social media platforms, Google Duuz-Diz-Din. Sorry for any creepy stuff you find. And until next time, remember, if you like Fairy Tail, then I guess you have a friend in me. Take care.